Hello everyone, this is Nidhi here. In this video, we will see what is Docker volumes and how we can manage data in Docker. We will explore the options for the data storage in Docker and how we can persist the data using Docker volumes. So let's get started. We have three types of storage in Docker. The first one is bind mount. There is one TMPFS mount and the volume, which is the most preferred mechanism for persist the data. So let's see. This is our Docker host. So you can say that this is your one machine. So how these three types of storage looks like. And you have this container. So this is your Docker container and this is the file system. So in this file system there is a specific folder like var lib docker which is the docker area. So volume is that, so whenever you create any volume it is stored under that particular file system which is managed by the docker. And bind mount is just normal file system, like if you have created any folder like opt test and you make it as a bind mount, so that is the bind mount. And tmpfs, it is the memory. This is just a temporary and it only persists in the host memory. As soon as you stop the container, all the data will get lost. So these are the three types of storage that are present in the Docker. So let's start exploring what all three means with the examples. So let's start with the Docker. So as I mentioned, volumes are the preferred mechanisms for the data persist and it is managed by the Docker. We don't need to do anything in this. Volumes you can share across multiple containers also. And in volumes, we have two types of volumes. One is anonymous volume and the second is named volumes. What do you mean by anonymous volumes? When we do not provide any name, then a random name is generated by the Docker. So it means it's an anonymous volume. Named volume. When you provide a name for your volume, like here I have provided DB volume. So it will create the volume with this name. Okay. So let's start creating it. So I have taken the example of MySQL container and we will see how the data is also persist and how the anonymous volume looks and the named volumes looks like. So this is my Git repo. You can try this example. I have this EC2 instance which I have just cloned this repo here. And as you can see, I have these three folders already created. And here I have created the Docker compose file. I can show you how it looks like. So here you can say I'm using this services and this is the MySQL image. Here I have not provided any name of the volume, right? And this is how it looks like. I am using PHP MyAdmin also so that we can actually open it on the web browser and check all the data and create anything like that. Okay, so this is how it looks like. Just to run this, what we will do, docker compose. Okay, so actually on my this system the docker service is not running, so make sure that your docker service is running before you run the docker compose. So we'll just run the docker compose up -d. We use -d to run it in a detached mode. Okay, so here you can see that docker ps, you can see the container is running. I can just expand it. So here you can, just a minute, I can show you like this. Okay, yeah. So here you can see two containers are running, PHP MyAdmin and MySQL. And we can do Docker volume ls. So you can see it's a random name that it has generated. Okay. So what next is in our next step, I can show you. You will see the random name is generated, right? As I have showed you. Now let's create, we can, so this is random name which is got generated. Now let's, you can inspect this volume also. So I'll just show you Docker inspect. Actually yeah, Docker inspect, and here you need to provide the volume name. So if you do this like this, so you can find all the details. So this is the mount point. And as I mentioned, var lib docker, this is managed by the Docker. You cannot change anything at this location. Everything is managed by the Docker. So this is how it looks like. We can decompose this. We can just remove all the containers because we don't want to use this as of now. I just showed you how you can create the anonymous volume. Okay, so now we will see how the named volume works. So let me show you how the Docker Compose file looks like. So here you can see I have provided the name of my volume, and at the end I have declared it. If you don't do the declaration, then you will get an error that volume is defined but no declaration found. So make sure that you declare it. Now let's just run this. So I'll do docker compose up hyphen d. Now we can see if it has launched the container or not. So you can see it has launched phpMyAdmin and MySQL container. And we'll see the docker volume ls. So here you can see that it has created the volume. It has created this volume named volume dbvol3. Okay. So this is how it created. So you can see this is the anonymous volume and this is the named volume. So obviously the named volume is good to have. So now let's explore it. Now just run this. So this is running on this and we can just log in with test user on whatever the password we have defined. And you can see this database is empty. It has created this database, but no tables is found. So now what we will do, we will create a test table. We'll just put one column here just to check the persisting of the data. And just put the ID and we'll just put the length as this. Okay. So now you can see that we have created this table test, right? Okay. So now let's delete this Docker container and then see if data persists or not. So let's just do Docker compose down. So when you do the Docker compose down, it will remove all the containers. I can show you Docker PS, you will see nothing is there. And if I try to refresh this screen, it will not work. You can see cannot reach this page. Okay. So now what we will do, we will run it again. And when we do this Docker compose down, your volume is still there. Removing the volume is a separate process. Okay. Docker volume ls. Yeah. So removing this is a separate process that I will tell you, but when you do the Docker compose down, it will not get deleted. So let me just do this Docker compose up hyphen d. And now you can see that it launched the containers again, right? And now if I refresh the page, I will get this page and I will again log in. What I should be able to see? I should be able to see the table. So it means that it persists the data because the volume was still there. We have not deleted the volume. If you have to delete the volume, then the process is you can do docker compose down hyphen hyphen volume. So it will delete all the volumes related to that docker compose YAML file. And manually, if you want to delete any volume, you can do like this. Okay. So now let's just do this docker compose. We don't want to keep this docker compose down hyphen hyphen volumes. So it will delete everything now. You would be seeing that it stopped the containers and it removed everything. So if you try to, it will, I mean, nothing will come. So this is how the Docker volumes work. Now the next step is if you want to populate a volume using a containers data, it's like a pre-populate your volume, whatever is inside in your container. So this is the command. Like here I am running the nginx container, and what I am doing, I am creating this volume and mapping to this is the container file structure, right? So whatever file is inside in this, you would be able to see that it automatically pre-populated. So let's see this also. So I can just run it from here. Just a minute. Okay, so it is running, I think. Okay, I think yeah, just a minute, let me just do it again. It copies 2 times, so let me just take one. Control C. Okay. So you can see that it has created the container. So we can see this Docker PS. You can see that it has created this Nginx test. And if we want to see the volume, you can see it has created this volume also, Docker. And if you want to check the container, I can see show you here also how it looks like. If you do the inspect, you will get the path. And here you can see that it has already pre-populated the data, whatever inside the container from here. So this is how you can pre-populate the data. The next storage is bind mount. So what is the purpose of having bind mount? Bind mount, you will be having a file or directory on your host machine, which you can mount from into a container. And bind mount is good when developers want to use his local files in the Docker container for their testing. Like they are testing some index.html, they can map their local index.html to the container so that they don't have to do anything more for their testing, right? So let's see how it can work. So this is some example that I have taken here. So here you will see one more folder for bind mount. And if I show you, I have this index.html. And what I have done, so let me just open this docker compose.yaml file. You can see I have made this file as my mount point to this location. So when I run this, I can see that it is able to take this index.html. So just run this docker compose up -d. It will launch a Tomcat container. And if I'll just do this, because it is launching on the same port, and this is also one thing in the Docker Compose, there is no sample folder is there. So that's why you always get that error. So now you can see here, this is a test index page. So this is the use of the bind mount. This help you for the from the developer perspective to test their local changes. TMPFS is the last one. This is a temporary and it only persists in the host memory. As soon as your container is stopped, this mount also get removed. So why we need to use this mount? So this mount is good to store the sensitive data. So that the data which you don't want to store anywhere, not even in any kind of memory, not even at the container writable layer. So to store your passwords, like you need some kind of place where you can put some runtime data. So that is it is used for. So yes, this is how the Docker volumes, and this is how you can manage the data in the Docker. Thank you.